Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can. Are we on Facebook?
Perfect. We are on Facebook. Sorry about that small delay, everybody. Just had some technical issues there, which we have now resolved. Technology is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Thank you very much to everybody for joining us so far. We've got Lucy, Jill, Trudy, Rob, Colin. Hi there, Rob and Jill. Thanks for your greeting. If you've got any comments at any point throughout this live, then don't hesitate to drop them there in the comments. We'll do our best to address them. If you've got any kind of questions or whatever it is, then you know where we are. So we're very excited about today's live. We're going to be talking about the Sahara. First of all, we've got a little announcement to make. I just need to get something ready to show you. So if you remember last week, we had a competition running, and it was a photograph competition after our Facebook Live about animals and trips where you can explore destinations which are very animal focused, and we offered you the opportunity to send your favorite picture in, and to have the opportunity for your picture to be featured if it was chosen as the winner. So I've got the picture here ready to go. Let me just grab that and we can announce our winner. Right, so hopefully you can see the winning picture by Ian Williamson. Thank you so much, Ian, for your application and your submission to the competition. You are our winner. This photograph was taken by Ian in Uzbekistan, and it was when he was wild camping below the Ayaz Kula fortress, which dates back to the 4th century BC. Really beautiful photograph. Thank you so much, Ian, and congratulations. Your photograph is going to be featured on our Facebook page for the next couple of weeks. So congratulations again. So let's go on to what we're talking about today. First of all, let's introduce our special guest. We'll go around. I'm Lexi, as you know. Let's go around and introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
I'm Rubia.
Hi, I'm Jude.
Great to meet you all. And Jude, do you want to just introduce yourself a little bit? Say, who you are and the kind of trips that you've done with different travel.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Jude. I'm one of the tour managers that accompany groups all over the world. Been going on many trips now for the last 7-8 years. Started in India, Sahara, Vietnam, Cambodia, many African countries, Canada, Romania. And experienced so many different activities, lots of challenges, including trekking and canoeing, project work as well, and of course Sahara Trek, which is one of my favourites.
Oh, amazing! You've done an awful lot, it sounds. I'm just gonna interrupt there. We've had a lot of other people joining us again this morning. So hi there to David, Victoria, Natasha, Donna, Alan, and hi there to my mum as well, who's joined us. Nice to see you all. So, sorry, carry on. Sarah, were you going to tell us a little bit about the destination?
Well,
And
I'll maybe just start off by introducing the Sahara and the destination. As you've probably gathered, it is one of our most popular and I think one of all of our favourite treks, one that we've been doing for many years now. You'll hear all about it and all the reasons it's so amazing coming up. But I guess just to introduce a bit of the country, I think one of the reasons it's a great trek is that it's so close to home. And Morocco is only about 3.5-hour flight away, but yet you feel like you're in another world. The Sahara itself is absolutely huge. It pretty much covers the whole width across North Africa. It's the largest hot desert in the world. It's not the largest desert because that would actually be Antarctica and then the Arctic. It's the largest hot desert in the world. The word Sahara actually does mean desert, so when we call it the Sahara Desert, we're actually calling it the desert, which sounds a little bit daft, but there you go. I mean, as a destination, Morocco's obviously got so much else to offer as well. Marrakech is the most amazing city, and there's always a bit of time there on our trips to explore that. We also do trips to Mount Toubkal, which is up in the Atlas Mountains, which is the highest mountain in North Africa. So that's another option to go out and explore a different side to Morocco. Yeah, so we're going to specifically talk about the Sahara on this one. So I'll hand over to Rubia, and we'll talk our way through the trek itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got an open challenge to the Sahara coming up next year, 11th to the 16th of March. But Jude, do you want to kind of run through a typical itinerary of what we do on the Sahara treks, just kind of how it all pans out?
Yeah, sure. It's a fairly short trip, so a sort of 5-day trip, which runs from Thursday to Tuesday normally, which is great for anybody who's working weekdays and needs to take as little time off work as possible. So departing on the Thursday, usually arriving, if you get an early flight, then it means that we can do half of the drive out to the Sahara and stay at a town called Ouarzazate, which is in the Atlas Mountains, and then continue your journey the following day onto the Sahara where you start your trek. So you have the first night in a hotel, then 3 nights camping under the stars. Your trek will take place during that time, and then you come back through the Atlas Mountains again. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Back to Marrakech, where you can have an overnight stay actually in the city and enjoy all of the souks and the shopping, the vibrancy of the city.
Absolutely amazing. It's one of those trips that there's so much crammed into such a short period of time, isn't there? It's just packed full of adventure and really kind of inspiring, getting out into such a remote landscape. And I don't know about you, but it was such a surprise that the desert wasn't just about sand, and there was a lot more to it than that. So
it's just about the sand dunes, don't they? But there's just so much more out there. With the terrain, it's a lot greener as well. We were there in March, and we were just astonished at how much greenery there actually was. And the snow on the mountains. It's just so varied, and the trekking is very varied as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even the drive over to the Sahara sounds amazing, and it might be long, but the views over the Atlas Mountains are incredible, aren't they?
Oh, it's really worthwhile. I mean, it's a bit off-putting when you see a long drive ahead of you, but it's broken up frequently with breaks, refreshment breaks, and views. I mean, when we were there, the snow on the high Atlas Mountains, it just had this like zebra effect that we were just mesmerised by, and all the viewpoints, and just seeing all the canyons and the varied rocks, and stopping off and being able to buy the chechis, which are the traditional scarves that they will show you how to make and are actually very useful in the desert when a storm starts brewing and the sand is blowing around. So before you know it, you're actually in the Sahara. So it doesn't feel as long as it sounds.
Absolutely. Certainly one of the things that I enjoy about the journey is when we have a stop at a cafe. Moroccan coffee is very, very special indeed. So if you're a coffee lover, and that's definitely something to take advantage of as well. And as well, you mentioned about the local handicrafts and things. There's often an opportunity to stop and see how argan oil is produced. And of course, argan oil is very, very popular in the beauty industry. It's great for your hair and your skin, and it's amazing to see the argan oil actually being produced, where it's grown. It's a really, really wonderful thing. It's a great opportunity. So Jude, let me ask you, who do you say the trip is suited for? What kind of people get involved with this kind of trek? What kind of type of people does it attract, would you say?
Right. I think, first of all, obviously the length of the trek. If you've never done a challenge before, somebody who's up for adventure, who wants to stretch themselves, perhaps has never taken on a challenge like this before, it's a perfect way of getting out there and jumping out of your comfort zone. Lots of people come on their own, or with friends, groups of people. Quite often they're supporting a charity of their own choice, as the group that I took, they're from Keach Hospice. So obviously they were all passionate about raising money for their favourite charity, but a lot of them had never met one another before. But none of that seems to matter on a trip like this. And all I'd say is that, you know, if you're even thinking about it, I think probably one of these shorter trips are probably for you to start with. And obviously the standard of the trekking is the moderate. We call it moderate. So if you're of average fitness and you're willing to put in a bit of time to train for the long days of trekking, then I think anybody could actually do it if you set your mind to it.
I think you're completely right there, and I'm just going to share a picture with everyone of your group that you travelled with a number of years ago. It was 6 years ago, I believe you said. You were there with Beach Hospice. So this amazing group picture here. You can see everyone enjoying the wonderful environment of the Sahara. I believe this picture was taken at the end of the trek after a successful journey. So really, really wonderful to see that. How difficult would you say it was? What kind of things make the challenge tough?
Okay, so as I said, it's classed as a moderately challenging trek. It's really varied terrain. So the biggest challenges, I'd say, perhaps in March, you're coming out of winter at home, so the heat, you know, is sometimes quite a shock to people. But actually, when we were there, it was only in the sort of low 30s. But the variety of temperatures, because at night it's so cold, you can't imagine that when the sun goes down after it being so hot during the day, it's actually really cool. So it's easy to sleep. It's not that oppressive heat that, you know, just keeps on and on. Also, the areas of where you walk and everything, there's lots of dried up riverbeds and rocky areas. It just looked like lunar landscape. So yeah, it's not just about the dunes, which obviously is a highlight for where people can have their photo taken on the undulating dunes, but you don't have to walk every single one. You sort of soon realise after walking a few, oh, I could actually walk round that one. Not all about the dunes.
Wow, it's very, very special. And Rubia, do you kind of have anything that you want to ask Jude about the experience?
Yeah, what makes it so special? What would you say was kind of like the highlights to the trips, and what makes it so memorable and one of your favourites?
I think, obviously we talked a little bit about the actual trek itself, which, you know, is amazing. And a lot of people, for them, it's their first time trekking as well, so to see the variety out there. But highlights for me were probably the dark, dark skies that we get there, and just the amazing views of the stars, the Berbers. We had a great head guide, Khaled, and he was so knowledgeable about all the constellations. We saw shooting stars the whole time. We could see the Milky Way. All his stories, the Berbers were making makeshift musical instruments in the evening, and we'd all join in, and of course we had the famous Hokey Cokey at the end. They wanted us to sing for them, and they sung for us. And it was just a beautiful atmosphere. It really was.
It sounds incredible, and I bet we touched on it last week, didn't we, about the camels and the animal porters. That's part of the experience of it all there as well, isn't it?
And the food. We haven't mentioned the food, which is
yes.
the experience. It really is what they come up with, the dishes that they produce. I mean, tagine. You may have had tagines over here in the UK, but the way that they present it is just phenomenal. It's just like a mountain with all the vegetables. I mean, we can cater for any dietary needs as long as we know in advance. And the vegetables, the fruits, the salads, dates, the mint tea that is always served with every meal. They're just a very, very welcoming people.
Yeah, I think we were saying earlier, just out of all the treks and places we go, and we do always have pretty amazing food, it has to be said, but the way they manage to serve and present it in the desert, out of this little tent that they've been sort of carrying all day, it's just absolutely incredible. It really does look like it's been presented in some kind of like 5-star hotel. It's just absolutely stunning, these mounds of food that they bring out on the platters. It's just incredible. I don't know how they do it.
It is amazing, and some of the things as well that you wouldn't expect perhaps from the food side of things. There's a really amazing opportunity to, if the weather's good, if it's not too windy, to see bread being baked in the sand as well. I'm just showing a picture here of the bread there in the coals, and that is just an amazing experience to see how that's done, and you know, taste it afterwards. You know, freshly baked bread from the Sahara. It's absolutely delicious, and a real, you know, privilege to watch that and learn a bit more about the culture whilst you're there as well. You know, all of our guides are, you know, Berber guides, and this is the kind of way that they live, and how they, you know, go day to day. So this is the kind of thing that you can really learn from them and experience that really authentic Moroccan, you know, and Sahara experience. It's really wonderful. And of course, you know, you mentioned, Jude, about the spontaneous musical interludes. I actually have a little video that I'm going to share, which you took, I believe, which is, it's just a brief one. I'm just going to show it quickly. It's 20 seconds long, and it's just a little sample of the kind of musical ingenuity that you can experience in the desert. So here we go.
Come on, come in.
That was actually water bottles and oil drums that they were just banging as the instruments. Oh, yeah, really fun.
It's such a lot of fun, and you know, everyone just kind of gets involved, don't they? And I think one of the things for me that makes this particular trip so special is the camaraderie, and how everyone just joins together and becomes a really, really close-knit team. And you know, you might never have met the people before, like you said. You know, you could be complete strangers when you start you know, the experience, but by the end of it, you know, you're just so close to one another. You have got to know everyone's stories, why they're there, you know, sharing those experiences, and kind of really being bonded. And that's a really, really special thing. I think something it stays with you for years to come.
It's about sharing something so special with those people. They're the only ones that really understand what you're going through, because you're going through it side by side, sleeping shoulder to shoulder. And yeah, and the Berber culture and the hospitality kind of rubs off on all of you, doesn't it, on the trip? So yeah, it's really, really something.
Absolutely.
Do you have any tales of adventure for us, Jude? Anything that's happened on?
Well, yeah, that particular Sahara trip, we encountered a sandstorm. It whipped up really quickly, so the guides, they hadn't had a forecast that it was going to happen, but it just suddenly came in. So we were halfway through the trekking that day. Beautiful in the morning, and just suddenly, I don't know if Lexi's got some pictures that show how the wind just whips up, and from a blue sky we went to literally orange. Everything just went orange, and the sand, it's not like sand you get on the beach, it's more like dust. So it's very, very fine, and it doesn't matter how much you wrap up, and obviously, you know, you take adequate equipment before you go. You can attend a pre-departure meeting where we share lots of tips of, you know, the type of equipment that you need, other little tips that we've got. But it doesn't matter how much you cover up, that sand just gets everywhere. And, so it was a little bit scary for a short while, but that's when the team really bonds, and we saw each other through every single step. In fact, the Keach Hospice group that was so special ended up calling themselves the Desert Rats, and that's what we're still sort of calling each other 6 years later on. And yeah, but it was pretty special. It was scary at times because, you know, people struggled with the wind just getting through, standing upright, but we couldn't camp that very last night. We ended up staying in an auberge near Zagora, I think, and yeah, the storm soon cleared, and we had a party, and we just couldn't believe it. That's another one of the challenges, is obviously in the desert there's no water, so it's a very precious source. So it's wet wipe washing every day. So when we got to this auberge unexpectedly for the night, just having a cold shower, it was only a little trickle, but it felt like luxury to us. So really learn to appreciate those simple pleasures that we take for granted normally at home. And yeah, that's another special part of the trip, really, and supporting one another.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a few comments that have just come in whilst we've been chatting. I'll just read those out. We have a comment from Colin who has said that he uses argan oil on his hair and it's worked wonders for his curls. So there you go, ladies and gents. You can take advantage of the wonders of argan oil. Phil has joined us. Phil trekked with me in the Sahara last year. It's really nice to see you on the call. Thank you for joining us. Alan asks, what are the sun risings and settings like? I did share some photographs on the call just there, but Jude, do you want to tell us about what the sunsets and the sunrises are like, how magical they are?
Absolutely amazing. The colours that you get through, it's not just one colour, and they call them mackerel skies, where you get the cloud formations at sunset. Usually you have that, and of course you when you're trekking and camping, you tend to wake with the sun and go to bed earlier and rise earlier. So just opening your tent in the morning and just seeing that rise above the dunes and the shadows and the trees. The camels, I don't know if you've got the pictures of the camp site where you've got all the trees set, all the camp tents set up, and the mess tent and the loo tent up on the corner, which you soon learn to navigate. It's cleaner than it sounds. I know other people, that's their big thing where they go, oh no, but it's absolutely fine. You soon get used to it. But, and sunset, of course, it happens pretty quickly. It's not a slow drop, but you just get this glow, and then when it's dark, it's just, I've never seen darkness like it anywhere else.
I think you're right there. It's quite hard to explain, but it feels almost overwhelming how dark it is and how quiet and how intense the stars are. I think for me, the first time that I went to the desert, it kind of shocked me to see the Milky Way with my eyes, and not, no Photoshop or anything. It was just there in front of me, and it was just incredible seeing, like you said about the shooting stars. There's something very magical about that. In Britain we're not blessed with clear skies like you get when you're there in the desert. So having the opportunity to sort of soak it all in and see these amazing shooting stars, just by sitting out for 5 minutes, it's just amazing. Really, really magical. I'm just sharing some pictures there.
Actually sleep outside the tents. They don't bother with the tent. They just lie there and just look up at the stars. I mean, it's a great stress reliever. If you have a stressful life normally and you want to get away, and yes, it's physically challenging at times, but you can just switch off to everything else in your life. It's amazing.
I think that's a really valid point. It gives you that kind of space to think and to kind of reflect on your life and have that sort of peace that you don't get when you're sort of in normal life here in Britain. I think it's a really interesting opportunity and something that you don't tend to get. And when you've got that kind of group, that camaraderie going on, even if you need 5 minutes to sit on a sand dune on your own and just have that time, everyone's very respectful of that, and it's a really magical and respectful experience. Really, really wonderful. We've had a couple more comments coming in. Adam, who I trekked with, that was my first time in the Sahara back in 2011. He said, amazing trip, made some friends for life. I couldn't agree with you more there, Adam. It was absolutely wonderful. We've also got Pasang Sherpa joining us from Nepal. Hi there, Pasang, nice to see you. Trudy has joined us as well. Hi there, Trudy. Trudy is going on the Sahara trip with us, hopefully this coming November, I believe it is, with St. Catherine's Hospice. I hope you are enjoying this so far and learning a little bit about what to experience. And we've also got Simbo joining us from Tanzania as well. So it's really great to have people from all over the place joining us on today's call. So thank you to everybody for being here with us. So Rubia, did you want to tell us a little bit about Marrakech?
Yeah, so on our trips you can get a chance to kind of visit Marrakech a little bit as well, and it's just such an incredible city, isn't it? It's the culture of it. It's quite a barrage of the senses, and it's only 3 hours flight away, but you feel like you're in such it's just crazy, isn't it? That's the only way to describe Marrakech. The people, the main square itself, as soon as you step in, it was quite a culture shock, I think, for me at first. But the orange juice, amazingly fresh orange juice on the square, and then in the evening it just turns into this massive barbecue party, which is incredible. One of my favourite places in Marrakech is the Montreal Gardens. So it feels almost a bit like an oasis, doesn't it? You kind of in the hustle and bustle of the city, and then you walk through these doors and you're in this lush green garden. It's cooler, and you've got a couple of museums in there as well. They were renovated by YSL, and since I was there, they've opened a new YSL museum in there as well, which is meant to be really interesting. And also a little bit further, it's kind of north of the souks, there's the Ben Youssef Madrasa. I don't know if any of you guys have been there, but it's very reminiscent of the Alhambra in Andalusian design. I think the current building was reconstructed in the mid-1500s, and it's a historical site now, and at its height it was the biggest Islamic college in the whole country. But it's just an incredible, the peace you get in that building as you're walking around is just it's a bit of a city of contrasts, I'd say. What would you say your highlights were of the city, Sarah?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, contrast. I just think it's like you say, when you get there, it's so close to home in terms of how long it takes you to get there, but yeah, it is literally a world apart. You feel like you're going to the other side of the world. I love the hustle and bustle of the souks. There's nothing like going around there, and even if you don't buy anything, just looking and being drawn in by all the sights and the smells and the food in the evening, as you say, it's just such an incredible experience there out in the main square. I haven't spent that long there. I've only spent the odd day here and there, normally before or after a trek, but it's somewhere I would like to actually go and spend longer in, I think, to see more of the surroundings, as you mentioned. It's so close to the Atlas Mountains as well. You can see the snow-capped peaks from the centre of the city, which is amazing when you're there at like 30, 40 degrees almost, and these mountains are looming in the background. It's just a real city of contrast. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
It's certainly somewhere that's a really great place to visit after you've been in the peace and the quiet of the Sahara. Yeah. It's like you say, that contrast between all of that quiet and then the sudden buzz and the noises and the smells and the sights. It's a real contrast and a lot of fun as well. And I think like you said, Rubia, sometimes you can kind of feel a bit overwhelmed by it. It can be a little bit of a culture shock, but it doesn't take long if you just kind of take a deep breath and you just kind of take a moment to soak it all in and really feel that environment. Drink some mint tea, exactly, yeah. And there's loads of places you can do that, particularly around that main square. There's some lovely places that you can go up onto the rooftop and you can see amazing views of the Atlas Mountains from there while sipping a cup of tea or coffee. There's a really, really good kind of cafe culture in Marrakech. So if you want to stop for a quick bite to eat or a cup of tea, then there's always something that to enjoy. And as well for me, the shopping opportunities are fantastic too. So if you've got family or friends' birthdays coming up, or if it's near to Christmas that you're going, it's always worthwhile stocking up on plenty of mint tea, and some souvenir teapots are very good souvenirs to bring as well.
Part of the fun is getting lost in the souks as well.
Yes.
It's all part of the fun of going around and seeing all the spices and the knickknacks and everything. It's really, really good. Have you guys ever eaten edible argan oil?
No.
Over there? It was on one of it's amazing. So you have argan oil, which is used in cosmetics, but when they roast the argan seeds and they crush it down, it turns into almost like Nutella, but it is amazing on the freshly baked bread, and you just dip it in, and with your tea or your coffee, it's honestly, you don't need anything else. It's incredible.
I'm definitely going to be seeking that out. That sounds incredible.
Oh, can't you? At the end of the trek, it's a 5-day trip, but you can extend if you want to.
Yeah, a lot of people do actually. That's something that we do always offer on our Sahara treks. You just have to let us know when you book, so that we can make sure we book the right flight home for you. But yeah, if you want to spend, I mean, we normally spend a full day in Marrakech, where if we can, according to flight times and what have you. But if you want to stay even longer, then absolutely, just let us know when you book, and we can arrange it for you. Why not? If you've got the time, I'd say go for it, definitely.
Yeah, certainly.
There's your pool at the hotel as well, so you can relax and enjoy all the treatments that they offer as well.
Yeah, certainly that's one of the great things, isn't it, about Morocco, the hammam, the spa kind of experience is really, really wonderful. So if you want some pampering after you've done some trekking, then that's also available for you as well. So you've got a little bit of everything, and that kind of sort of takes us on a little bit to tell me, everyone, what are your favourite things about the Sahara and Morocco in general? Tough question.
Guides for me, it's and the entertainment. It's not laid on entertainment, but we make our own entertainment, and the singing that that the evenings around the campfire for me.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. In terms of the sort of most vivid memory, it's probably got to be the stars and the skies. But I think that the food, for me, I think most of the places we go just have to rate really highly as well. I think those two would be probably my highlights. What about you, Lexi?
Well, I'm not going to give mine yet, but I'm going to read out a comment from Phil, who said that his highlights are great group, friendly and knowledgeable guides, amazing food prepared in the desert, stunning scenery, getting away from normal busy life, something I will remember forever, night skies, list goes on and on. I think, you're completely right there. You've kind of summed it up. It is just a magical experience, and I think, like the two of you, the night skies are just stunning. And I also love Morocco for the fact that it's kind of like an adventure paradise. So, like you were saying at the beginning, Sarah, it's not just the desert, it's not just Marrakech. You've got, the Atlas Mountains, you can go rock climbing, there's the coast, so you can do water sports. It's just crammed full of adventure. So depending on what you're interested in, there's so many options. And of course, it's steeped with culture, history, and amazing kind of food, like you said. I don't think there's one thing I could say about Morocco that I don't love, to be honest.
Talking of that, actually, on the adventure thing, you can even go skiing there, which is something that is certainly on my list to do one of these days. I think to fly into Marrakech and then actually go and ski in the Atlas Mountains must be amazing. So that's certainly on my bucket list.
Yeah, when I was there on Mount Toubkal a few years ago in the winter, there were lots and lots of people skiing down from the summit of Mount Toubkal, which is just amazing. It's a 4,000 metre peak, and skiing off the top of that, it's just magical. So yeah, Morocco definitely has a lot to offer. It's really special. Rubia, how about you? What would you say is your favourite thing about Morocco?
I think you've summed it all up. I think for me, it was the culture and the hospitality of the people out there. Just getting to talk to the locals and the amazing communal food. We always sat down and ate together, and it's always food related, really. The culture's amazing. The people are amazing. It's just like you say. There's something for everyone there. You can do the historical sites. You can be a bit of an adrenaline junkie, and there's something for everyone, I think, and that's what's so great about Morocco.
Completely right. We've had another couple more comments that have just come in on Facebook. So Matt Smith has joined us from Wildmar Hospice Care. Matt has trekked with us in the Sahara as well, so he's hopefully enjoying reminiscing as well. Quick hello to you all. Glad you're all keeping safe and well. And to you too, Matt, we hope you're looking after yourself and doing well. And Lucy has commented as well. Nice to see you, Jude. Miss that smile. So that's wonderful. Awesome. Does anyone else have any kind of highlights to share, or shall we wrap it up?
Probably having waxed lyrical for half an hour. Most of them.
Okay.
Nice to get back out there. I'm at the moment, honestly. I just really miss going on my adventures.
Absolutely.
I'm sure a lot of people who are tuning in, you know, that's part of life that we're missing, really.
Fingers crossed it won't be too much longer, let's hope.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, like we've said at the beginning, if you are interested in the Sahara Trek, then you're obviously very welcome to join us. We're heading out there in March of next year, all being well. So you can visit our website for details. The link is in the description there, so feel free to pop onto our website and have a look. And whilst we're talking about websites, we've got some quite exciting news. Sarah, do you want to tell us what's our exciting website related news?
Well, yeah, we've actually got a brand new website that we've been working behind the scenes at for quite a while now, and it should be coming live new very soon, hopefully within the next sort of couple of months anyway. So one thing that we are doing to celebrate this is we're actually going to be giving away a place on a trip. We won't be releasing all the details yet, but it's just something for you to watch out for once we do launch the new website. And yeah, something exciting in the pipeline. So,
amazing. Super exciting, yeah. So watch this space. We'll let you know obviously when we've gone live, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about, so next week we're going to be joined by two special guests. We're going to be joined by Lucy, who's there on the call with us today, and also Dave, and we're going to be talking about life-changing adventures and get their opinions and their experiences of life-changing adventures and how you know, they've come to experience different things with different travel and in their own independent travels as well. So we hope you can join us for that one next week. That's Thursday of next week at 11 o'clock. And yeah, as I say, if you've got any questions about the Sahara, or if you want to comment, your memories or your thoughts about Morocco, then pop them in the comments and we'll reply to those after the call. Thank you everybody for joining us on Facebook. Thank you, Jude, for joining us and sharing your experiences. It's so wonderful to think back on this amazing trip. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week. Bye everyone.
bye. Bye.